Adjunct Professor Moran, Microeconomics 112. We're going to practice in this session using cross-elasticity of demand, which, if you remember from our prior session, measures the quantity, the percentage change in quantity of one good compared to the percentage change in price of a different good. So, for example, if Coke puts one of its products on sale, a decrease in price, what will happen to the quantity change in the price of another one of its products? So if the price of Sprite goes down and sales of Coke, the cola drink, go down, that's a positive, a negative divided by a negative. And that means that these goods are substitutes. And that would be very useful for Coke to know in its pricing strategies. If the ratios are negative, if the price of one good, for example, goes up, and the quantity demanded of another good goes down, then a negative divided by a positive is a negative, and these goods are complements. So the price of tennis rackets goes up and causes a decrease in the quantity demanded of tennis balls, then those two goods are being used together, and because of the change in price of one good, they'll be less sold, but they'll be less sold of the other good as well. That negative relationship results in these goods being complements. If the price change in one good has absolutely no impact on the quantity of another good, then these goods are called independent or neutral goods. And that would be a change in the price of cars has no impact on the quantity demanded of walnuts. Notice that the concept we're talking about right now, the cross-elasticity of demand, and a concept we'll be talking about in the next session, income elasticity, are measured as positives or negatives. In other words, change above and below zero. In our prior discussions of elasticity of demand and elasticity of supply, focusing only on one good, those elasticities are measured as greater or less than 1. These are greater or less than 0, positive and negative, with unitary elasticity, 1 dividing elastic from inelastic on one demand curve. But here we're comparing positive and negative numbers, greater or less than 0. Let's do some practice problems. The formula for cross-elasticity of demand is the percentage change in A, the percentage change in quantity of one good divided by the percentage change in price of a different good. Cross-elasticity of demand measures how sensitive purchases of a specific product are to changes in the price of a different product. Unlike the elasticity of demand itself, it was the percentage change in quantity of that good divided by the percentage change in price of that very same good. Here we're comparing the percentage change in quantity of one good to a change in price of another good. That will allow us to determine whether they're substitutes used instead of each other if the ratio is greater than 0, or negative, less than 0. The larger the positive cross-elasticities of demand between products X and Y, the greater their substitutability. The greater that this ratio of cross-elasticity is from 0, the more they are substitutes. The more negative they are, the more these goods are complements. We would expect the cross-elasticity of demand between Pepsi and Coke to be positive, indicating these goods are substitutes. An increase in the price of Coke will lead to an increase in the quantity demanded of Pepsi as people buy less Coke in response to the higher price and buy more Pepsi. If Coke goes on sale, a negative change in price will lead to a negative change in quantity demanded of Pepsi as people stop buying Pepsi and buy Coke at the lower price. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. Negative, indicating the goods are substitutes. We would expect the cross-elasticity of demand between dress shirts and ties to be negative, indicating they are complementary goods. An increase in the price of dress shirts will cause people to buy less dress shirts, in which case they will need less ties, so the quantity demanded of that good will go down also. So, an increase in the price of dress shirts, a positive, will lead to a negative change in quantity demanded of ties. Negative, indicating these are complementary goods.